bits, and I'm really pleased to be here talking about theatrical catalog opportunities on Blu-ray, because it's a topic that is really near and dear to my heart. At the Digital Bits, we've been covering DVD and now Blu-ray. We started in 1997 with the earliest days of DVD, and I'll tell you, in all that time, there is nothing that gets our readers and I think film fans and early adopters more excited than major catalog release news. And it's always been my belief that once we got past the format war and once the prices got down to sort of a mass market level, the thing that was really going to drive the adoption of Blu-ray was how aggressive the studios were with their catalog titles. Because everybody out there, even people who are not yet in the Blu-ray market, all of those people who were the most avid consumers of DVD have a handful of films that the moment those titles get announced for Blu-ray release, you got it. And they'll go out and buy a player, and then they'll start buying other releases. And so I think you know, when you consider, I think Craig Kornblau said earlier, the studios are only now just starting to scratch the deep catalog, and even the major catalog titles on Blu-ray. There are tremendous opportunities out there, and it's I think, a pretty exciting time. We have a good panel here of studio representatives to talk about catalog opportunities, starting with Jeff Baker, the Executive Vice President and General Manager of Theatrical Catalog for Warner Home Video. Rita Belda, Director of Asset Management in Film Restoration Digital Mastering for Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. Bob Bucci, the Senior Vice President of Marketing for Paramount Home Entertainment. Dave Shaw, Senior Vice President of Marketing for 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment. And I think we're going to start. I know that each of you has a clip that you'd like to show about a specific title that you guys are working on for Blu-ray release. So I think, Bob, we'll start with you. Do you want to introduce the title and introduce the clip?
Sure, we just have a really short little trailer for The African Queen, and it's a title that we have, really a gem in our library, that is kind of unique in that it was the last of the AFI Top 100 films that hadn't been released on DVD, let alone Blu-ray. So we're very excited about this one. Let's look for a little clip.
And you're right, Bob, that was the last of the AFI Top 100 films to hit DVD. And so it's exciting that it's one of the earliest catalog titles that you guys are really jumping on board with as far as Blu-ray. Rita, I think you're looking nice.
Today we are releasing Bridge on the River Kwai, and this is following an extensive 4K restoration. So our clip is for Bridge on the River Kwai.
And that streets today, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Blu-ray today.
Excellent. Dave, would you like to?
Also streaming today. The Sound of Music. This is our 45th anniversary of what we feel is obviously one of the most beloved family films of all times and one of the greatest musicals in our library. So I'll let the trailer speak.
I'm pleased to present The Exorcist, 1973 film, which, if you're squeamish, please leave the room now. This film is very successful commercially when adjusted for inflation. Its box office domestically is about $900 million in the top 10. It underwent a significant restoration before the release to Blu-ray, and typically Warner releases its big titles on anniversaries. But this one's 37 years old. We didn't want to wait till 40 years old because we found some compelling content which we want to present to the consumer with the Blu-ray release. And so we're very excited about this release.
And that is now available, is that correct? It's in stores now.
It's in stores, yeah. It's been out for about 30 days.
Yeah. All right, I want to start basically by just sort of getting a sense of where we're at with Blu-ray versus DVD. Obviously, DVD is a mature format now. 10 years ago, the catalog business, the studios could almost do no wrong. You could release all kinds of deep catalog, B-movies, niche titles, put a new commentary track and some video things on it, and there was an audience out there that was ravenous for that product. And now, moving into Blu-ray, Blu-ray is just starting to push into the mainstream. So, where is the catalog business at in terms of DVD versus Blu-ray?
Well, first of all, in the early days of DVD, consumers were transitioning from VHS into DVD. The difference today is that Blu-ray is backward compatible. So many consumers who own standard DVDs have the ability to play their libraries on a Blu-ray machine, and they can very carefully select and pick those titles that they feel are enhanced by Blu-ray to the point that they want to buy them yet again and collect them. So it's one of the challenges we have. In standard DVD today, the biggest problem we have is shelf space. Warner Brothers, as an example, has 6,700 films in its library. We've only released 2,300 on standard DVD. And the likelihood that we're going to get to many more in the future is pretty bleak. So we're really focused on Blu-ray, and we're handpicking and selecting titles that we feel consumers will step up and buy again. And where there are tentpole titles and big releases, such as The Exorcist, we're adding compelling content. Because we may not be mastering a film like The Exorcist for another decade or two or more in packaged media. We don't know. I mean, other than maybe a 2D to 3D conversion, we may not touch the film element again. So we want to make sure when it's released, it's of the highest quality, and we're adding compelling content to get consumers to buy it again.
I think the only thing we would add is that, from our view, that ravenous appetite is starting to roll out to the mainstream. And the one thing that the economy's contraction in the last 2 years has actually done for our business, and particularly for catalog, is really raise the threshold for the value that you need to be able to provide in a Blu-ray format. You can't just throw a title out there. The event titles truly need to be events. And so when you look at the kinds of content that we're all bringing up here in our shameless trailers and paid ads for today, but the content, not only in terms of just the quality of the film, but the experience that gets extended beyond that on Blu-ray, the bar is really kind of raised. And so you really have to pay attention to the consumers that are coming into the franchise or coming into the format now. And the great news is that they are ravenous for more.
I think you can even see just from the film clips that we brought today, a good variety between African Queen and Exorcist and Sound of Music. We're expanding into some Blu-ray genres that maybe haven't been as prevalent in the past. There have been a lot of action and sci-fi and special effects driven films, but we're definitely approaching more and more genres and finding some success as Blu-ray goes more and more mainstream.
I think back in the days when DVD first took off, there certainly were not as many choices as has been alluded to today in terms of streaming and other ways for people to access content. So it does pose a challenge, but it's also a great opportunity for Blu-ray product to stand out in the marketplace because of its quality and the ability to for consumers to bring home films that look like they've never seen them before. And I think an example is with Bridge on the River Kwai in particular. The amount of work that went into that film and the results, we feel, make it really stand apart from any DVD release, and the product itself, I think we're finding, is making a huge difference in the way people are able to consume these classic titles.